good to be back out here, and certainly we've got a big game coming up. I think just giving our guys some rest after that game, so emotional, and the lead up to the game. We've got a very unique final exam schedule here. They had exams last night. They've got exams this afternoon and this evening. They got exams tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. 3 exams on Monday. So it makes it a little bit unique to try to work practice around that and have exams on the weekend. But that's what we've got to do to be able to travel to the bowl game. Our exams here at the Academy are scheduled for all next week, and obviously if we travel to Fort Worth, it would be very difficult for us to be here to take those finals. So we kind of crammed them in, and we're doing the best we can to get our guys prepared.
What's your schedule look like for bowl week, given the exam schedule that you have to accommodate, and then just a few days to get ready to play a very good Houston team?
We practiced this morning. We'll practice tomorrow morning prior to the 2 finals tomorrow. We'll take Monday off. As I said, there's three exams a morning, and the exams are 3.5 hours. So it's not a typical, I guess, exam. So 3.5 hours in the morning, 3.5 hours in the afternoon, 3.5 hours in the evening. So that really kind of Monday is out for us, which is good. We'll get 2 practices this weekend, take a day off. The rest will help our guys. We'll practice Tuesday morning before we depart to go down to Fort Worth. We'll take the team to Fort Worth on Tuesday and enjoy the welcome and the festivities there. Practice Wednesday and Thursday at Kennedale High School that the bowl game has set up for us, and our normal Friday walkthrough. We'll play the game on Saturday. Hopefully it'll be good enough.
Coach, when you looked at the game film from Navy, what were some of the thoughts? Obviously, Navy had a big fourth quarter, but your defense just made 2 big forced fumbles that made the difference.
They did. The one after the long delay on the 4th down run that they reset the chains and the ball and all that. That's a momentum changer if you're not of the right mindset. And I just really give our guys credit. They went out there and knuckled down, and Jalen McClinton made that great stop down there inside the 5-yard line and knocked the ball loose. They eventually ended up scoring, obviously, and making it a 10-7 ball game. But the big strip sack by Brinson, and then the play after that where we ran the counter play and got it down inside the 5-yard line and scored. Those were 2 really big turnovers, and our defense played their tails off on Saturday, and I was really, really proud of their effort. And I thought our whole team did. It's a physical game, it's an emotional game, and I thought Navy defensively played really well and really hard and did a good job stopping us. And we made some plays when we needed to, and that was enough to win a game.
Can you talk about what's on the line in this bowl game? Where you guys, it's 10 wins. You could possibly be the first team to 11 wins in the Academy history, and what you told your players.
There's a lot, certainly. One, as you mentioned, to win 11 games would be the first time in program history. There's, I think, only there's less than 20 teams in America that have a chance to win 11 games this year. Some have already won 11, but there's a few of us sitting at 10 that got a chance. And that would be, it'd be a big accomplishment for us to be mentioned with those teams. To win 3 straight bowl games, there's fewer than 15 teams in the country that have a chance to win 3 straight bowl games. This year being one of them. I mean, just some things I think for our seniors in terms of their legacy and what they've left this program. So. It's a big football game for sure. An outstanding opponent, extremely athletic, well coached. Be a huge challenge for us. But hopefully these days that we have to prepare and to practice will be enough for us to be ready for the game, to at least execute our assignments and hopefully play well enough to win.
Talk about Austin Schubert and his rise on the team. I know he was a scout team player his freshman year. He kind of just worked his way up. Kind of epitomizes some of the senior class, right?
He's a guy that really has come from nowhere. A guy that was probably not even considered a guy for the future when you just say, what's it look like on the offensive line? His name as a freshman probably wasn't popping up on anybody's radar, and there are a lot of guys in that senior class that have really worked, just given everything they've got to this program to be able to contribute. Chandler Ramirez is a guy, Max Regan's a guy like that. I think of, Kalen Holt. He was a defensive player for 2 years and really was kind of down about where he was on the depth and bounced around trying to find a position for him. He became maybe one of our best football players. John Abercrombie. Whoever thought John Abercrombie would be our kicker and be as consistent and as productive as he's been. So there's just a whole bunch of guys like that, and I know I'm failing to mention some of them, but really proud of this class.
Coach, we heard driving back Saturday night that your defensive coach, Jay Bateman, would be moving off to North Carolina. Just tell us about his contributions, but also how you run the defense for this game.
Jay's an outstanding football coach, and I've said many times I think he's the best defensive coordinator in the country. And I think Coach Brown and North Carolina is very fortunate to be able to get him. It's a great opportunity for him. It's a lot closer to home for he and his wife, and just an opportunity professionally. That's an outstanding program with a Hall of Fame coach and a chance to start anew and build something. And that's really fun in this profession. And I suppose in a lot of professions is to take something that maybe is a little bit broken or not as good as you think it can be and turn it into something special. And that's what's been so special about this experience here. And Jay's been a huge part of that. He was a huge part of this team's success over the last 3 years and building this program, and both as a defensive coordinator as well as a recruiter. You look at the guys he recruited and the guys that are playing on our team. A lot of those guys Jay recruited and brought here to West Point. So we wish him well.
And Coach, just heard last night that General Caslon is going to receive an award from the NCAA, the Theodore Roosevelt Award, down in Orlando, in Florida. You've got another Army football player, Superintendent General Williams. How vital is it to have the support of the superintendent at West Point to your football program?
I'm convinced that it wouldn't work here unless the administrators here, certainly our superintendent, the commandant, the dean, give their full support to this program. It's such an important piece of our academy. The Army-Navy game, the exposure that football gives this academy, and it's why we place such an emphasis with our team on representing this school, and when they wear these colors and play, representing it in a way that everybody can be proud of, because for a lot of people, West Point football, Army football is their access to West Point. It's the only thing they really ever see that's associated with West Point. They can't visit here. They live in a different part of the country, a different part of the world, and so important to have the support of our administration. And General Williams has been great, as has General Gilland and General Jebb, and can't say enough for Bob Caslon. Just was fantastic as a superintendent. Really proud of him. Well-deserved honor that he's earned. So happy for him. I saw that tweet yesterday and sent it back out, and was really proud to be able to read that about him.
Coach, in terms of planning for Houston, obviously they've talked about how their quarterback and their top defensive player is sitting. I mean, how does that sort of change up how you sort of focus on the game plan? Obviously, you're not going to have as much footage of the backup quarterback or one of their backup defensemen. How has that game plan been working for you guys so far?
They're probably a little bit different with the quarterback. They're two different types of players, but certainly both very talented. The starter, I know I'm sure they're feeling disappointed that they lost him. He's tremendously athletic runner, thrower, but I'm impressed with the guy that's backing him up. He doesn't have as much experience, so that probably changes a little bit for them, what they do. But the running back they got, you hand that to that guy, and I don't know if there's anybody that can catch him. I don't know if they got anybody on their own team that can catch that guy. I know we don't. So we got to try to keep them from running the ball, and we try to do that with everybody, but try to stop the run. That's certainly important for us. Offensively, control the clock. It doesn't matter who's playing for them on defense. We've got to run our style of offense and be able to control the ball and move the chains. Ed Oliver's a great player, and I'm frankly glad he's not playing. He's a lot to handle, and that's not unique to us. There are a lot of people that have had a difficult time handling him, and that's why he's a first-team All-American. So, but they've got a bunch of other good players. You watch them, they've got a whole bunch of good players. He's not the only one. Probably some of their other guys get overshadowed because he gets so much publicity, but I'm going to tell you, they got a bunch of really good players that if we don't play with great fundamentals and technique, they're going to give us fits. So hopefully we'll be able to play our style of ball and play well enough to win.
Now for the senior class, obviously, third straight bowl game for you, but you've seen year after year the seniors playing in their final game. Is there any sort of, especially with the emotions, is there any sort of approach, especially early on, is there any sort of slowness or sort of lack of focus, or do you feel like that the senior class, when it comes to actually playing, even with all the ceremonies, they get right into business and are able to focus?
Ceremonies in terms of the Army-Navy game and that kind of stuff?
Well, just the fact that it's their last game. I don't know if there's that as much pageantry involved with it, but just the fact that it's their final game.
Yeah, I don't get all, teary-eyed and all that about it being their last game. It's not the last game for everybody else on the team, and frankly, they owe it to everybody else to play their very best. So I don't think our guys care anything about having any parades or anything to, celebrate, hey, well, isn't this great, and, thank you, and you're playing your last game. We'll do all that after the season. Bottom line is we got to win a game, and so we're going to push these guys and try to get their very best. I know they're going to demand that out of each other because that's what it's going to take to win, our very best to beat a great Houston team.